let's get started today with making our chocolate chip cookie in a mug. This is a really simple recipe. It is really tasty. You guys are going to love it. To get started, let's make sure we have all of our equipment and our ingredients. We need butter, which I have here. I already pre-cut my butter to be a tablespoon. We buy the sticks of butter. If you look at the packaging, it says that there's 8 tablespoons in a stick. You just cut where one of the lines is for the tablespoon. If you don't have a stick of butter and you have a tub, not a big deal. Take a tablespoon, scoop it in, take another spoon like a regular eating spoon, I have one, and press it down. Butter is sticky, so if you just scoop it in, you might not have an accurate measurement. Press it down, then level it off. And that would be your tablespoon of butter. You need 1 tablespoon of granulated sugar. I have my sugar right here in a bowl. I did not measure it yet, but I just wanted to make sure everything was organized. So sugar's over here. We have brown sugar. We're gonna need a tablespoon of that. I have vanilla. That's something that you need to provide for this recipe. Vanilla just makes your foods a little bit sweeter, gives it that vanilla flavor. We need a pinch, or 1/8 of a teaspoon, which that's 1/2 quarter. A good pinch, you're fine. I need, let's see, 1 egg yolk. So I have an egg, and I will show you guys how to crack the egg and how to separate it in a little bit. And then we need flour. We're going to need 3 tablespoons and 1 to 2 tablespoons of chocolate chips. All right, so let's get started with, let's go over our equipment. We are going to need a microwave. I have 2 available. We are going to need a mug, handy dandy liquid measuring cup. We are going to need a spoon. Ta-da! We are going to need a straight edge spatula or a knife to level off our ingredients. A butter knife, not a sharp knife, guys. And then that's pretty much it. We do need oven mitts, which I have over here by the microwave because this will be hot when we take it out of the microwave. Let's not burn our fingers. Let's enjoy our chocolate chip cookie. Another piece of equipment you may want, not required, is an empty, clean water bottle. I'll explain why in a second. Guys, let's get started with measuring. So like I said, I already have my tablespoon of butter. Knowing from reading the recipe, the butter is going to go in your coffee mug, whatever you are microwaving this cookie in. If you don't have a mug, you guys can use a bowl, whatever. I put my garbage can a little closer, so, okay, done. I need a tablespoon of granulated sugar. I'm going to put all my ingredients in this bowl. I'm going to start with my sugar, vanilla, and salt. So, 1 tablespoon of sugar. Instead of doing a tablespoon, let me see if I can. There's not that much sugar left from my package, and I don't want to pour it in. Why don't I want to pour from the bowl into a measuring spoon? I can miss, it can go on the floor, I could be in trouble. What I'm going to do is take a teaspoon. 3 teaspoons make 1 tablespoon. So to get my tablespoon of sugar, I'm going to do this 3 times. Usually, I would tell you guys to scoop in, level off. If you don't have that much, if you just want to give it a good shake, you probably can get away with that in this recipe. But remember, when you level off, you drag it towards you first, towards the handle, then level. So that's 2 teaspoons. Let's do 1 more teaspoon to make a tablespoon. Man, I am running low. I'm going to do this over an empty bowl. I don't really care if I get sugar in my egg. All right, there's my 3rd teaspoon. So now I have 3 teaspoons or 1 tablespoon of sugar. I'm going to now put my brown sugar in the same bowl because both sugars go together. Brown sugar is a little bit different than white sugar. Obviously it's brown. It's also sticky. To measure the brown sugar, you will need a tablespoon. This time I am going to use my actual tablespoon. And in my I'm going to use a spoon, just a regular old spoon. I'm going to scoop brown sugar, place it in the tablespoon. using the back of my spoon, I'm going to press it down. I'm going to pack it on in, and then I do another couple scoops. This is called the packing method. The reason why we do that is because of that molasses. If I just scooped in and started trying to level off, I won't have an accurate measurement. So we scoop in, pack it down. All right, then you level off. My brown sugar is a little dry. Hopefully yours isn't, but mine is actually pretty good. I don't need to level. And then the cool thing is, I'll show you in this empty custard cup, when you drop out brown sugar, it holds its shape. I don't know how well you guys can see that, but it holds its shape. That means that you did a good job. We are good to go. Dump the sugar with the white sugar in a bowl. We are going to need half of a teaspoon of vanilla. To measure a liquid in a measuring spoon, you don't really use more than a teaspoon of vanilla in a recipe. If you did, it wouldn't taste very good. So you make sure you have half of a teaspoon. You go over an empty bowl or cup and you pour it in. That way, if you spill, my spillage will go to the empty bowl, not into my batter and not on my counter or my floor or on me. So half a teaspoon I'm going to put in that bowl. Lastly, for the bowl, I need a pinch of salt. Get a pinch of salt. You pour some in your hand. You take your clean fingers and you literally just pinch it and drop it in whatever bowl it needs to go in. With the extra salt, do not wipe it on my floor. Do not wipe it on your floor. Put it in the garbage. I have my white sugar, brown sugar, vanilla, and salt. I'm now going to do my egg yolk. Crack an egg. I always have a piece of paper towel here because eggs are potentially hazardous. I don't want to just get egg yolk or eggshell everywhere. I always crack in a separate bowl, not in a bowl that I'm using for my other ingredients, because if I get shell with other ingredients, it can be really hard to find, and I don't want to be eating shell with my cookie. So to crack your egg, you're going to give it a good whack, crack it into your empty bowl. The big thing, since we're separating the egg yolk from the white, so the yellow from the white, we want to keep the yellow intact. We don't want it to be kind of spread out. You'll know if it's intact, if it stays and kind of holds its shape. All right. Perfect. I put the shell right back on the paper towel, throw it away, and I'm going to wash my hands because eggs, again, are potentially hazardous. I don't want to be touching other things when I have yolk on my fingers because I don't want to be giving myself salmonella. If there's a chance that there's yolk on your counter, I highly suggest you take everything off, you re-clean your counter, because again, we don't want potentially hazardous ingredients to get mixed in. So we want the yolk. I have an empty little custard cup that I'm going to be putting the yolk in to separate the yolk from the whites. Some of you probably have done this before. A lot of times people will take half shells that I already threw away and toss them back and forth, putting the yolk in one, yolk in the other, over a bowl and letting the whites drip until you only have a yolk. Cool. If you feel comfortable doing that, do it. This recipe, it's not super critical. If we have some whites, it's not a big deal. Another thing you can do, because it's not a huge deal if you get some egg whites in your cookie, you could just take a fork and lift out the yolk. Problem with that is that it's easy to deflate the yolk, easy to poke it, and then if your yolk is broken, whether you crack it in there or you poke it with a fork, you cannot use it. So make sure you are very careful. My tried and true method, take a clean empty water bottle. We're gonna vacuum the yolk. All you do is gently squeeze the water bottle, go next to the yolk, slowly release the water bottle, and the yolk gets sucked right in. Go to the bowl that you are dumping the yolk in. Ta-da! I now just have a yolk, no whites. Adios, whites! I need 3 tablespoons of flour. I'm going to put my flour from this bowl to this bowl. To measure flour with your tablespoon, scoop in, level off. 3 tablespoons of flour. Last but not least, we are going to measure our chocolate chips. I'm going to be real with you guys. We already made our brownies. There's not that many chocolate chips left. I'm not going to bother measuring it. I'm going to use them all. so I'm not gonna even waste my time measuring. If you have more chocolate chips at home, add some more. Don't go crazy. We don't need a pile of chocolate chips, but definitely add some. This is probably okay for me. Let's get started. For equipment, I have my microwavable bowl. I have my ingredients already measured, and I have a spoon. I'm going to start by melting my butter for about 30 seconds to a minute. I do not think you even need a minute or even really 30 seconds to melt a tablespoon of butter. I'm going to get started with 20 seconds. If I need to add on more time, I will. Guys, so I was wrong. I did measure or melt it for 30 seconds, so good to go. Up next, with the spoon, mix in your sugars, vanilla, and salt. So everything out of this bowl, I'm going to just kind of scrape it. The vanilla made it a little extra stickier. Is it a big deal? No. If you want to grab a rubber scraper, feel free. Scrape the sides if you have one. Then you mix until well combined. With this, when you're mixing, you do not want to feel any of the sugar crystals from either the brown sugar or the white sugar getting, you just don't want to hear or feel them when you're mixing. All right, mix until well combined. It's combined. Up next, mix in the egg yolk until no traces of the yolk can be seen. Dump in my egg yolk and let's mix. So it starts off with a kind of a lemony color, but it's starting to turn brown, not as dark as it was, but I want to see it brown throughout. The brown comes from the vanilla as well as the brown sugar. The egg is mixed in. Up next is the flour. This is going to make your batter your dough, I guess it's cookie dough, very thick. It's going to kind of soak up a lot of that butter, vanilla, and the yolk. Make sure you're scraping down the sides as you go. You don't want flour hanging out on the sides, because when you're eating that cookie, you'll be having bites of just pure flour, and that's not good. This is kind of a mustard color, kind of like a baby poop color. But mix it until there's no flour. Last but not least, fold in your chocolate chips. Folding is just a gentle way of mixing. You just don't want to be breaking up the chocolate chips. Give it a couple stirs. And there we go. I did go ahead and grab my straight edge spatula to get the dough off of the spoon. If you don't have one, just grab a second spoon and kind of just scrape it. All right, scrape it off the rubber scraper. Drop it on in. Do that a couple times. Step 3, microwave on high for 40 seconds or maximum of 50. We're going to start with 40 and see how it looks. All right. It has been, I did 45 seconds, and this is what it looks like. It looks like a chocolate chip cookie. Not that many chocolate chips because I didn't have that many, but it looks really good. Enjoy this lab. As always, if you need help, let me know. And heads up, this is really hot, so be careful. As the recipe says, if you want, put some ice cream on it. That would taste really, really good to have a hot cookie with some awesome cold ice cream. And enjoy, guys. Have a good one. Let me know if you need anything.